Hey guys, so I wanted to. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's probably gonna be a very long time before I can make another proper video. That being said, I do want to make this quick one because it is something that recently, especially, I've gotten a lot of questions about, and that's particularly how to deal with zoners. So, as with all my videos, I'm going to try to address what in principle makes zoners work. I'm not going to exhaustively list out how to deal with every projectile and every zoner, but I'm going to try to give you guys the raw materials so that you can deal with them and kind of see what unifies the zoner archetype and how to generally, what questions to ask yourself to navigate these matchups. So, this is obviously coming from the perspective of a Ganon main. You might approach this slightly differently depending on the character you use. Ganon obviously has some of the worst out-of-the-box tools to deal with projectiles and zoners in general. So take this all with a grain of salt and extract from it what you will, but generally I think what I'm saying here can apply to basically every character, unless your character is just an amazing zoner, in which case, why should you care? You can just outzone everyone else. So, the thing you want to understand with zoners is that projectiles, with the exception of certain characters that I would argue are not super well designed, at least in certain aspects, like maybe Samus, with the exception of those characters where sometimes projectiles kind of are the point, projectiles usually are not the point. They usually are subterfuge. That is, they're something that sets you up or puts them in a position to get to what is the point. A meteor hit, something that can kill you. So, for example, Duck Hunt. When Duck Hunt throws his can, his gunman and stuff, he's not just trying to gunman you, unless they're not very good. They're not just trying to can and gunman and clay pigeon you to death. They are trying to get you to do something. They are trying to either limit your options or elicit some kind of response with their projectiles. When Duck Hunt throws can, they're usually doing it, they're putting it above your head, the really good ones, and that's to pin you to the ground. And it's no coincidence then that, and I mean, there are innumerable variations of the different projectile routes a character could take. But this is just one of them for Duck Hunt. He could throw can, and it'll pin you to the ground because it's sitting there above your head, and he can detonate it at will. Then he throws gunman out. That's not a coincidence, because you're now pinned to the ground, and you're faced with a move that is going to cover the entire, or for all intents and purposes, the entire x-axis of the stage. So your options are basically shield. And that's when Duck Hunt's going to run in and grab you. So what I as Ganon do is I recognize what the purpose of the gunman is. I can't challenge the can, but I can, because the can isn't where the setup is complete, where everything comes full circle. The gunman usually is in this particular case. So I will preemptively dash attack. And that's the beauty and dynamism of Smash, is that you might say, okay, well that seems simple, but that's generally, that's in principle what you want to do, because obviously the Duck Hunt dog does not need to rush in and try to grab you every time they do that. Once they see that you're preemptively dash attacking, once gunman comes out, they might dash back instead and whiff punish your attempted preemptive dash attack. So again, that's what makes Smash dynamic and fun, and why we never get bored of it, because things are always changing. Another example might be Villager. Villager, when he throws Lloid Rocket out, he is not, that is not the end of his intentions. At least, again, good ones. The end of Villager's intentions are not with the Lloid Rocket. They are with what the intentions end with what the Lloid Rocket ideally is making you do. In most cases, it's making you jump. And so that's, well, there will be Villager. 2 steps ahead of you, ready to forward air you, and ready to swat you out of the air after you've tried to jump over the Lloid Rocket. So what I as Ganon do is immediately, frame 1, as soon as I see that Lloid Rocket, I immediately full hop Nair, buffer it. And hopefully, it comes out quickly enough that my Nair's active frames will clank with the projectile, stone, whatever it is, and hopefully hit Villager as he's trying to call my jump out. But again, Villager, once they realize you're doing that, they might stop and maybe try to up smash you. That's a common villager thing. They'll throw Lloyd, you jump over Lloyd, they up smash your landing. Or they could just, I don't know, something else to punish that. So again, this is just the general idea. Understanding, the first step is understanding the baseline of what these projectiles are trying to get you to do, what they're encouraging, what behaviors these projectiles encourage. And last would be, let's say, Link. The Links generally like to throw the boomerang above your head, and that pins you to the ground. And I've seen Toon Links do this especially. They will throw bomb at your shield, and they will use that bomb as a way to cover their entry. So they'll throw it in front of them. You can't do anything because you'll just grab the bomb, or it'll detonate on you. So you usually just hold shield, and that's when they run up and try to forward air your shield. That's how they get close to you. The bomb is sort of a protective barrier. So again, what makes projectile characters and zoners so tricky at a baseline level is the fact that they are counting on, and they don't depend exclusively on this being the case, but the basic idea behind them is that you are always on step 1 while they're on step 3. Duck Hunt Dog throws his can, and by the time you're sitting there dealing with Can, like, oh my god, Can's coming, I don't know what to do about it. By the time you've dealt with the Can, Duck Hunt's already on his way to grab you because Gunman's out and you're holding shield. So to deal with zoners, you have to understand, you have to match stride with them. You can't let them you can't let them stay any amount of steps ahead of you. You have to be abreast of everything that they're doing. You have to understand what their projectile routes are. You have to understand what their intentions with their projectiles are. And if you're a character like Ganon, you have to take preemptive action based on where you think they'll be or how they'll try to take advantage of the behavior that their projectile is, for them, hopefully encouraging. So next time you fight a zoner, just ask yourself, if you keep getting hit by projectiles, watch your VODs, record it somehow, and ask yourself, what is this person doing every time they throw this projectile? And it won't always be that clean. They won't always do the exact same thing. But try to find an average. What do they usually do? What do they do a lot of the time after they throw X projectile? And that's when you start to come up with solutions like Villager always forward airs after he throws Lloyd Rocket. So that's when, I don't know, I maybe preemptively full hop Nair. And maybe that'll get me somewhere. So that's why I personally really like zoner matchups, because they are very dynamic. That might sound weird as a Ganon, but I really do like zoner matchups. I generally don't like whiff punishing contests because I find that lacks the dynamism that I like in the game. So I really like fighting characters like Villager, Isabelle, Belmonts even, and that's again why I don't like fighting Samus, because I don't feel like she's a character that really has... She's not trying to get you to do anything with her charge shot aside from just shoot you with it and maybe get you to jump and then forward air you for it. That's the classic zoner thing. Charge some kind of projectile, try to get you to jump, and then swat you out of the air. That's like the most basic one. You see that with Robin too. Robin will throw whatever, Thunderbolt and Arc Thunder, and then use big old Levin Sword to just beat every possible hitbox you could throw at them. So, yeah, anyway, hopefully that helps everyone. And again, sorry that it's going to be a long time before I make another proper video, but hopefully this one helps, even if it's informal. And at some point I will try to make an official one, but for now, hopefully this will do. So, hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I will see you before the end of time